Good afternoon. Today is November 20th, 2024, and this is the hearing of the City of Tempe hearing officer. My name is Vanessa McDonald. I'll be conducting the hearing this afternoon. First thing out of the gate, I'd like to read something into the record so that everyone understands the protocol and why we're here and the rights of a property owner. The City of Tempe hearing officer is authorized by Arizona revised statutes and the City of Tempe zoning and development code. The hearing officer is granted the authority to conduct public hearings to decide upon the abatement of code violations occurring on properties within the city. These violations include deteriorated pools, structures, or landscaping, storage of junk or refuse, and inoperable or unregistered vehicles. Abatement actions are typically brought before the hearing officer by the city's Code Compliance Division, typically after numerous attempts at contacting the property owner to obtain voluntary compliance with the code. The hearing officer may issue an order directing an owner, occupant, property manager, or other responsible person to remediate a code violation, or may authorize the city to abate the property to correct that violation. The cost of the abatement is the responsibility of the owner of the property where the violation occurs and will be collected as an assessment against the property in violation of the code. Any property owner who is aggrieved by a decision of the hearing officer may file an appeal within 14 calendar days after the hearing officer has made a decision. The deadline for appealing any decision rendered today is 3 p.m. on December 4th, 2024. Appeals are heard by the Board of Adjustment, after which they may also be appealed to Superior Court. A property owner has 14 days after the hearing officer's decision to either file an appeal or bring their property into code compliance. If an appeal isn't filed or the property isn't brought into compliance within this required 14-day time frame, the property will be abated by the city. On today's agenda, we have 4 items. We have a set of minutes from October 15th, 2024, and we have 3 property abatements. Agenda item number 5 has been removed from the agenda. It's being continued to a future date. Joining me this afternoon to my left are Cassidy Hernandez and Sean DeFara from Community Development. Thank you guys for being here and for helping set this up. So that's it. That's all the housekeeping items. We can move into our agenda this afternoon. The first item is consideration of the meeting minutes from October 15th, 2024. I had a chance to review those minutes when they were sent to me after the hearing, and I believe they accurately reflect what took place at that hearing. So I'm going to approve the minutes of October 15th, 2024. The next item is a request for approval to abate public nuisance items at the Gutierrez property. This property is located at 1240 West 11th Street. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented this afternoon by Senior Code Compliance Inspector Jack Schofield. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Hearing Officer. Jack Schofield, Code Compliance Administrator here with the City of Tempe. Here today to request a 180-day open abatement for the property at 1240 West 11th Street to address deteriorated landscape and trash and debris and littered exterior areas of the property in the front and rear yard. This case was initiated October 4th of 2023. There's been 4 notices mailed to the owner until we found out that the owner is deceased. There has been minimal progress on the property. That's why today we're here to request it. I do have some photos to show the condition of the property today. So this is in the rear alleyway where there is trash and debris and landscape debris scattered throughout the alleyway right here.
Okay.
This is the rear yard that shows a little bit, half of the rear yard. As you can see, it's overgrown, trash and debris and items being stored on the exterior of the backyard. There's another portion of the backyard as well, showing more litter and debris and items being stored in the rear.
Okay.
And then the last angle of the property, as you can see, there's still a lot more trash and debris on overgrown landscape in the rear yard. They said we have minimal progress on the property. That's why we're here today requesting a 180-day open abatement to address those violations.
Okay, so just to summarize, the owner is recently deceased, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
There's a new property owner, or it's going into probate or something like that. So thus far, there's just not been a lot of communication, progress.
So there
on the
has
property.
been some communication with the daughter. They have done a little bit of progress on there. We have granted several extensions, but we're to the point now to where this has been open for over a year. That's why we're requesting the abatement.
Okay, thank you. Mr. DeFar, is anyone on the line wanting to speak about this agenda item?
Madam Hearing Officer, no one online.
Okay, and I don't know if there's anyone here in the chamber wanting to speak on this item. I don't see any hands, so I'll take it that there's no one in the chamber to talk about this agenda item. Well, like you said, it's been a year of communication and very minimal improvement in the property. And the property, clearly, the photos speak for themselves. It clearly needs to be remediated. So I'm going to go ahead and approve your 180-day open abatement case or request for the property at 1240 West 11th Street, contained in CE 235342. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is a request for approval to abate public nuisance items at the Vivify Restorations LLC property located at 2025 South College Avenue. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented again by Jack Schofield, and the case number is CE 241810.
Good afternoon again, Madam Hearing Officer. Again, Jack Schofield, Code Compliance Administrator here with the City of Tempe. Here today requesting a 180-day open abatement for the property at, 2025 South College Avenue in Tempe to address deteriorated landscape and trash and debris and landscape debris within the front and rear yard. So there has been several notices, 6 notices mailed out to the property owner. There has been, bear with me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no rush.
So there has been 2 citations as well, to which the property owner has failed to appear for court and has gone to collections on that. That's why we're here today to request the 180-day open abatement to address the deteriorated landscape, front and rear yard, and landscape and trash and debris in the front and rear yard as well. I do have photos taken today of the property. This is going to be in the front yard, where this tree and this tree have large dead portions of it that we're requesting to remove. There is another dead tree in the front yard as well, right over here.
Okay.
So this is looking into the rear yard to where there's a makeshift gate with all the deteriorated landscape debris in the back.
So they put the pallet there kind of to serve as a visual barrier.
Yes, ma'am.
But what I saw through there was landscape debris, junk and debris.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And this is another photo that kind of
Oh,
shows
gotcha.
over the fence here, that's showing the landscape debris that's piled up back here in the rear. There's also overheight grass and weeds along the side. Here's another angle of the backyard that shows trash and debris up on the back patio and large piles of landscape debris in the rear yard, along with overheight grass and weeds as well.
Okay.
And here is a zoomed in view of the back porch, showing trash and debris on the back porch as well. Like I said, we have absolutely no contact with the property owner, several notices, a couple of citations to no avail. That's why we're here requesting the 180-day open abatement to address these violations.
Okay, thank you. It is occupied, though. It looks like it, right?
It is not occupied.
Oh,
ma'am.
it's not,
No, it's an
okay.
unoccupied structure.
Okay, thank you. Mr. DeFar, is anyone on the line wanting to speak about this?
Madam Hearing Officer, no one online.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll look for a show of hands if anyone's here in the audience wanting to speak on agenda item number 3. I don't see any, so I'll go ahead and close that portion of the hearing on this case. As before, the photographs speak for themselves. The property is clearly in violation of the code. So I'm going to go ahead and approve your application contained in CE 241810, and you did request 180 days, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for 180-day abatement of the property.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. That brings us to agenda item number 4. This is a request for approval to abate public nuisance items at the McDonald property. This property is located at 2111 North Van Ness Avenue. No relation, McDonald. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented once again by Code Administrator Jack Schofield.
Good afternoon again, Madam Hearing Officer. Jack Schofield, Code Compliance Administrator here with the City of Tempe. Here today to request an open abatement at the property at 2111 North Van Ness Avenue here in Tempe. This is to address trash and debris in the front and rear yards. 2 notices have been mailed out to the property owner to no avail again. I do have some photos that were taken of today. So here's a photo of the front yard that shows just kind of an overview of the property with trash and debris and items being stored in the carport. I do have a zoomed in view as well, showing the items that are being stored. And this last photo is the photo of piles of trash bags that are full back in the rear yard. Like I said, we have had some contact with the property owner. We've had a long history of abatements on this property as well. This is actually an ongoing case to where we had an abatement before, but it had expired and the property is still in violation. That's why we're here today requesting the 180-day open abatement to address the trash and debris.
When the abatement was approved originally, did you abate it and clear it up, and then it's just?
Yes, ma'am. We've actually abated about 2 times.
Okay.
I believe 3 times, I'm sorry, on the
Okay.
first abatement.
Okay, thank you. And communication with the property owner, sporadic, or?
Yes, ma'am. The property owner requests no assistance and does not take any actions to any of the notices.
Okay, thank you. Mr. DeFaris, anyone on the line wanting to speak on agenda item number 4?
Madam Hearing Officer, no one online.
Thank you. Is there anyone here in the chamber wanting to speak on agenda item number 4? Again, I'll look for a show of hands. No one is here, so I'm going to go ahead and close that portion of the hearing on this matter. Again, without communication from a property owner and no, true progress in clearing up the property, the photographs speak for themselves. Junk, trash, debris loaded up and stored on the property in clear violation of the code. So I'm going to go ahead and approve your 180-day open abatement request for the property located at 2111 North Van Ness Avenue and the contained in KCE 234242.
Thank you, Madam Hearing Officer.
You're welcome. Well, that concludes our agenda for this afternoon. Mr. DeFara, any announcements?
Madam Hearing Officer, one announcement. Our next hearing officer agenda is Tuesday, December 3rd at 5 p.m. and live on Tempe Channel 11.
Great, thank you. That being said, we're adjourned.